Hello, Michelle again, back to talk about Chapter 5 of the Toltec Mounds Archaeology book by Dr. Martha Rowlingson. This one is about the ceramic assemblage from Mound S. So basically, this one might be a little boring depending on how much you love ceramics. I'm basically going to just tell you all of the different kinds of pottery types and styles and decorations that they found at Mound S, which I'm hoping will give us a good idea of what we'll be on the lookout for this summer. So I do have some pieces of pottery that I'm going to show you. It's hard to see like from a video some of the details, so I also took scans of the photos from the book. The only downside to that is that those are all in black and white because it's an academic text. So you can see the details pretty well. So when I put the photo on the screen, if we're talking about punctated or incised, you can see that well. The only downfall of that is some of this is red slipped. And so in black and white, you can't see that slip. So I did take a photo of a piece of red slipped pottery. It's not the actual type that they're talking about, but it'll at least give you an idea of the color red kind of that we're looking at, what a slip looks like. So we're just gonna go through, essentially, this will be pretty short, list all of the pottery types that were found at Mound S, give you an idea about it. And if you want more information about pottery and how we analyze it in archaeology, we do have a series of lab work videos on our YouTube channel. And there are a couple of them about pottery, so I'll link those in the description. And then also, the names of all of these pottery types are from, almost all of them are from a book by Phillips, Ford, and Griffin, which was written in 1952. And it basically lays out all of the pottery. Those three archaeologists have named a lot of the pottery that comes from Arkansas, eastern Arkansas. They did a big project. Some of the names sound a little wacky. They're mostly named after like locations where these different styles were first found. But so if something sounds weird, it probably just sounds weird. It's not me mispronouncing it, but that's always possible too. So let's jump in. Like I said, it's just going to be kind of a long list of pottery types. So the first one that they name is Baytown Plain, which is essentially just plain pottery. It has no decoration on it. The thing about Baytown is that it's grog tempered. And grog is just ground up old pottery mixed into new clay. And then the clay is formed into whatever shape. So this is undecorated pottery, so it's just gonna be plain. Then we have Coles Creek incised. There's a lot of different varieties of that, depending on kind of where the incisions are and things. It is again a grog tempered pottery, and it's incised with lines usually near the rim. And incisions, this is not the actual type, but incisions are, you can kind of see those lines, not that part, just the lines. So that's what incised pottery is. It'll have kind of lines drawn into it. Then we have Evansville punctated, again, a bunch of different varieties. It's gonna have that grog tempering again, and it's gonna have punctations across the surface. So this is one type of punctation. Again, this is not that kind. I will put a picture on the screen of the actual Evansville punctated. But yeah, just punctations across the surface rather than continuous lines. Then we have French fork incised, which again is grog tempered. It has incised lines on the surface and some of them are curved. Again, showing that. Indian Bay stamped. So this is a grog tempered pottery as well, and it is stamped with a tool to impress rows of designs. So this is just a tool we use when we're doing pottery with kids. But you can see it's just got some cord wrapped around it. We can press it into wet clay. So some sort of tool is used on that stamp, so you get the same kind of series of looks over and over. It's not freehand, it's something being used. Then we have Larto Red, which again, grog tempered. Most of this, because this is a woodland period site, is gonna be grog tempered. And we have interior and exterior red slip in the Larto Red. So we'll have red on both faces of a piece of broken pottery. And then we have Mazik incised. That one I'm not sure on the pronunciation. Again, grog tempered, and it typically kind of has fields of design. So there'll be areas with design and areas without design kind of blocked off from each other. All right, so the next one is Mississippi plain, which again, plain, so no decoration, it's just pottery, but the difference from Baytown is that this is shell-tempered pottery. So you'll see the little white speckles of shell rather than the grog in the Mississippi plain. So no decorations, just shell. You're looking at Mississippi plain. Then we have Morris plain, which is grog and bone tempered. And bone kind of looks a lot like shell sometimes. It can be a little more gray or kind of discolored chunks of whitish stuff, but it also has that grog in it, and again, undecorated. Then we have Mulberry Creek cord marked, which is grog tempered again, and it is pressed with cords on a tool. So that my tool that I showed you is, I mean, this is just cord we bought from the store, but you can see how it's looped around there, and then this would be used to press designs into something. So I have a piece that's hard to see because of the color. You can kind of see how there's lots of lines kind of pushed into the clay. And sometimes you can see the twisting of the cord in cord markings. You can see which way it was kind of twisted together to form the cord, so that's kind of cool. And like I said, I have a picture of this as well. Then we have something called officer punctated. It's grog tempered again, and it has punctations on the rim and the lip of the vessel. And so if you get a piece of that vessel that is not the lip or the rim, you wouldn't know that it was officer punctated when it was whole, right? And then we have something called Old Town red, again, red slip, but that is shell tempered pottery. So we're working into the Mississippian period when we're seeing that shell tempering. We have Parkin punctated, again, shell tempered, and there are punctations across the entire body. So this one is Parkin punctated. It's across the whole body of the vessel. Then we have one called Wampoo zoned red, and it is grog tempered. It is incised, and then there are red slip in certain sections within those incisions. So that's kind of an interesting one. And then we have one called salmon brushed, and it's grog tempered, and you can see really close spaced shallow lines because it's done with some kind of brush, created brush. So a stick that's cut in and kind of flared open, or a piece of cane or something like that. So it could be created with one tool, not like the same thing over and over. Like in size, you take one stick or something and create a line, but this all would be happening at once. All right, and so that's basically it for this one. They didn't go into a lot of analysis of the pottery, they just kind of were presenting it in this chapter. And like I said, the next chapter is about lithics, then there's one about faunal remains, and then it kind of brings all of Mound S together. So I think we might next week do the lithic tools, see some pictures of those, and then talk about faunal real quick. And then we'll wrap up Mound S, and I think then we move into Mound G and kind of start comparing the different areas against each other. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something. Like I said, if you're interested in pottery, check out our lab work video series, and you can learn more about how we do pottery analysis in an archaeology lab, kind of some of the details we look for there. That was all filmed at Parkin Archaeological State Park, so it's Mississippian kind of time period based, so later than where we'll be working this summer, but it still should give you some idea of how we look at pottery and what kind of things we're looking for when we're trying to do that analysis. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next week and talk to you later. Bye.